Right, looks like we are live. I'm going to let this run for a couple of minutes because the last few times it has kicked me off. So let's see if this keeps running. All right, so looks like everything's working. So welcome back to episode 17 of the Tempest Rising podcast. Today I want to spend a few moments looking at something I like to call the Limitless Triad. So for most people, when they decide to work on themselves to improve their life in some way, they're focusing on one area and they're working from the belief that that particular thing is what they're missing. And in improving that, they'll become whole. So they'll become happy, they'll have everything they ever wanted. But here's the thing, wholeness and happiness and becoming limitless isn't about a singular thing. It's threefold. So to live limitlessly, you have to be three-dimensional. You have to work on your body, you have to work on your mind, and you have to work on your emotions. Those three things form the Limitless Triad. They create a three-dimensional being who operates from a place of abundant energy. So this is where most people get it wrong. They just pick one area to focus on, and they'll make progress on that area. But deep down, it feels like something else is missing. And that's because it's about a careful balance between your mind, your body, and your emotions. The three are interwoven, and at the base, they're all forms of energy. So if you take a big chunk of energy away, then you're going to be out of balance. And if you're out of balance, you're out of energy. And without the energy, you're limited in what you can create in your life, which is why it's so important to look at the bigger picture. See, I see time and time again, people want to lose weight, they want to get fit because they think that in doing that, it's going to dramatically improve their life. And in some aspects it will, but not usually in the way that they want it to. Because when they work on their body, they fail to work on their mind. There are some people that do a little bit of mind work as well, but it's not enough because they then fail to work on their emotions. So you can work really hard on one thing and everything gets worse because the more you put into this one thing, the more you take away from something else. You're tipping the balance. I've done it. I've trained my body for years before I started training my mind and then eventually my emotions. I've been fit as fuck. I've had visible abs, but I've been miserable as hell on the inside. And then I've learned how to work on my mind. I've learned about how the mind works, ways to improve the strength of it, its capacity, all those kinds of things. But I never understood the role of emotions. So despite doing the work to bulletproof my mind, all of that could be undone by one tiny little feeling, because emotions are huge. And I said last week that everything we do in life, we do for a feeling. So to avoid improving your emotional intelligence is to limit yourself severely. So each time I added an element to my training, it was like a step on a ladder. But when the three things combined, I didn't need the ladder because it felt like flying. It's this sense of weightlessness, a sense of completion that doesn't come from more gym work or more knowledge or more this or more that. It's finding that balance. It's no longer an uphill battle when you cover all of your bases. And that's where all of the power comes from. Real power comes from knowing that you've trained all of the areas and that you're operating from a place of energetic abundance, physical, mental, emotional energy. You have to train it all to have it all. One dimension is not enough for you to have the life that you dream of. So as a call to action today, I want you to draw out the triad. I want you to draw a triangle, and at one point, write down the word physical. At the second point, write down mental. And at the third point, write down emotional. And then under the headings, write down the things you do every day to train that element. So next to physical, you might say, right, I go to the gym. I focus in on my diet, things like that. So you're listing the things that you do to train that area specifically. And you'll notice that one thing will have lots of elements, something will be empty, and then something might only have a couple of bits, and you'll be able to see where you're putting the most emphasis. And then I want you to consider what that means for the balance in your life. Where's the balance going? What are you putting the most effort into and what are you lacking in? Which part of the triad do you need to work on? So, as always, there's going to be some show notes up on my blog over at celestecurry.com, and I will also drop them in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how your triad is looking once you've drawn it. Leave me a comment or even send it to me privately, whatever works for you. Just let me know what's working for you, and if there's anything you'd like to know a little bit more about, please let me know. I've got to go to the airport shortly, so until next week, let me know how you're getting on.